We are in the heart of the Gulch. My name is Tony Mendoza, your host, and today we got someone that took the Nashville Hot Chicken scene by storm, baby. Not only that, one of my favorite places. You can find me there actually at the bar here in the Gulch, the original location. We got the owner of the amazing Party Fowl, Austin Smith, in the building. What's going on, Austin?
How's it going, brother?
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
It's kind of crazy, as like I was telling you this before we got on air here, is that, man, not growing up, but being here for about 3 years and living, once upon a time, the studio used to be my domain. Party Fowl was the #1 spot I would always go to get my food, man. I know, and he got me a little bit because I do have this Hattie B's little thing right here, but it was just the making of the studio.
Sure.
Man.
No, look, I love everybody. If I'm at Hot Chicken Festival, you'll see me sneak over and see Aki Hines over at 400 Degrees. I got to get me one of her tenders before the day's over. I eat mine every day. I still like to go out and play.
Hey, man. Well, actually, that's a good question. We're going to start to get to know you, where you're exactly from. And you said it yourself outside, right? Born and raised in Memphis.
No,
you said it better.
Made in Nashville, born in Memphis. So we lived, I'm one of the few, I guess, we lived in Hermitage when my parents, got pregnant with me, and my dad was filming a TV show in LA. So mom drove to Memphis and had me at Memphis East Hospital, and then we came back home to Hermitage. So I always say made in Nashville, born in Memphis, and still have a lot of family in Memphis too. So I've got some strong ties down there.
How often do you go back and forth?
To Memphis?
Yes.
I used to be a lot more. Mama and Papa would probably whip my butt if I didn't come see them at least once a year. But we try to get down more. With 3 kids traveling, it's not a long drive, but it is when the kids got to stop every 10 minutes,
Oh, absolutely. And it's the funny thing is that you guys, I don't think on the way yet to Memphis from Nashville, they haven't made a Buc-ee's right on the side of the highway yet. And you should be happy about that, because if they made a Buc-ee's right off the highway from Nashville to Memphis, you can forget about an hour of your time, because those kids will go in there crazy.
The kids? I'll be at the jerky counter for an hour. What are we talking about, man?
Hey, that's a fact.
And also, the cheddar jalapeno summer sausage. Don't sleep. Listen, I hadn't been to a Buc-ee's until maybe about 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I have now been 4 times. I can't not. And blown away.
Hey, man, that for some reason, the person who thought about it, right, the owner of that operation just found the perfect, let me give a little Mickey Mouse with the look of it, but then let me give you the biggest show you could possibly do. But speaking about biggest show, I mean, there wasn't, at the time when you created this shop in 2014, there was no real hot chicken place where you can go sit down, enjoy watching a game. I was there just for the Elite 8, just to go sit at the bar and watch the game. There was nothing like that here in Nashville until you started that, man.
So it was real funny. I was thinking about getting in the restaurant game, and I loved hot chicken. And I had read this book, Blue Ocean Strategy, and it really changed everything about how I looked at business. It was talking about how all the sharks feed where the water's red, because they're all feeding off the same meat, and to find your own blue ocean where you don't have a competition. So my goal was to set out to take hot chicken to another level and pay respects to where it comes from. But I wanted to put hot chicken on different items that people had never seen. I wanted to be the first full service hot chicken restaurant in the country, the first full bar hot chicken concept in the country. We set out to put everything Nashville likes to do under one roof. And man, I'm gonna tell you, it was horrifying and terrifying and scary. God bless, I'm glad I did.
Well, I mean, not only that, I heard from a story I was watching. I always do my research on everyone that comes to the heart of the Gulch.
Sure.
And I did my research, and I heard that you were originally in, I'm not sure if it was in Antioch, but the Tortilla Man. You were a Tortilla Man?
So I worked it on the border. I got promoted from host. And actually, I didn't really get promoted as much of they had to get me away from the front door. When the Titans had the Music City Miracle, I happened to be working that day, and we had a TV in the little front foyer. And I was so caught up in it that I started saying some colorful things. And there were some cuss words that came out, but in good, it was good context.
Yes.
And the manager snatched me up and was like, go learn how to make tortillas. I was like, I completely understand. Also, can I finish watching the last couple?
Hey, what did it feel like to believe it or not, this past weekend, my my girlfriend's brother made handmade tortillas.
Yeah.
And originally from South Texas, that is you. I'm sure you've been to an HEB.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they only serve handmade tortillas there. So when I heard this story about them moving you to make some tortillas, I mean, that must have been not only, I mean, you realized how tough it really is to make a tortilla.
You know a DJ booth, what it looks like, and some of them have plexiglass around them?
Yeah, of course.
I basically had a tortilla station DJ booth in the middle of the restaurant, so everyone watches you do it. So you got the plexi around you, and you've got the flat top. Now, they made it simple for me. All I had to do was put it on there, press it, flip it. My hands were so burnt after the first couple weeks. But, man, it was great, you know. And they'd be like, and you can have some. Don't worry. They're really low cost. I'm like,
yep, that's right. You don't know a good tortilla unless you're going to eat it raw.
Get a little side of queso and dip it and just snack on it.
Well, speaking of which, though, because from originally you weren't a restaurateur to begin with. And that's why I bring up the story, because when you were working typically what, front of the house or back of the house?
I've worked a little of both, but front of house is where I live. I'm a people person. I can't help it. God did not bless me with a six pack and thin hips, but boy, I can run this thing all day. So they keep me in the front near everybody. And I started as a host, and I ended up doing some serving, bartending, managing. I've been a dishwasher. As you know, I've helped make tortillas, and I've helped out in the kitchen here and there. I mean, I've done every job you can do in a restaurant. And I started in hospitality doing concessions at Ernest Tubb Record Shop in Music Valley Drive when I was like 12, 13 years old. And, that popcorn machine burnt me as much as that tortilla maker did, I'm going to tell you. But, yeah, I've always been in hospitality, and my goal was political science. Yeah, I got a degree from Lipscomb University for political science, and I worked on campaigns, 2 gubernatorial campaigns, a U.S. Senate race.
Wow.
Found out that wasn't my passion, and I went back to serving while I was figuring out my next move, and then I went and became a liquor distributor with Athens Distributing here locally, and that's when everything clicked for me. I got to meet owners and GMs and KMs, and I got to, understand, like, why did you do this with your menu, and why is the flow of this restaurant this way? And I got to be in those conversations because I was helping them develop their program. And for about 5 years, I didn't realize that I was making a list of like 100 don'ts and like 10 do's, and toward the end of my career at Athens, I realized that I was gonna go for it. And I'm telling you, that time there where I got to work with, I had 125 accounts that were bars and restaurants
all around here in the Gulch, right?
Well, all around here and Midtown, Green Hills.
Wow.
East Nashville, a little bit of Murfreesboro. I was spread around a little bit, but I got to see every type of bar, every type of restaurant, every which way it could be done. And really, I didn't realize it, when I started, but it was putting all these pieces together for me.
Shoot, not even putting pieces together, brother. You also went to all these places. You now have a Party Fowl in all those places.
Thank you.
I mean, let's be honest. Let me just throw out the list here. Like I said, I'm a fanboy right now, so I'm gonna do that. So we got the original one here in the Gulch. You got Donaldson. That's it. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret real quick, okay? If you ever go to the Gulch location, and it's always packed on the weekend, thank God for that, right? And if it's a little too packed and you just want to get your wedge salad with a little bit of that mild hot chicken in there, you go to the Donaldson location. The Donaldson location is not that far away from the Gulch. And then you got Cool Springs, and then you got Murfreesboro.
Yep.
Destin, sheesh, and then missing one. You got one in Chattanooga, and not including. You also talked about having locations. You called them, what do you call them? Operations spots?
They're license agreements. So we are in the B&A airport, the new D terminal. That little 2,200 square foot building does the same volume as the Gulch.
Oh,
it is unbelievable. We've been received really well. I mean, eating hot chicken before a long flight is a true commitment. Bring dude wipes. Be careful. Bring some Toms, get some milk. No, but
don't eat it beforehand, please, for everyone involved.
That's right. When you get off the plane, grab a bite and a drink before you go get your baggage. No, the boozy slushies have been going over really well. We serve our brunch, a portion of our brunch every day at breakfast there, and we're known for that. So I think that's been a real big benefit. But that one's great. And then we partner with the Tennessee Titans. We now have 4 units in there. We have the South End Zone, the West Third Level. We have one on each side of club as well, and they've just been phenomenal. I mean, you talk about fanboy.
Yeah.
I'm a Titans fanboy since day one, since Jump Street. seeing our logo in that stadium, seeing our logo go up on that board. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still get a little tear every once in a while. It's like, where in the hell did this come from? Like,
Well,
it's unbelievable.
Talk about where in the hell. So let's talk about the original location here in the Gulch before it went bazonkers with all this stuff around here.
Yeah.
That's a new word. I never used that word before, bazonkers.
Bazonkers, I like
But
that.
anyways, you got to talk about the fire. Speaking about hell.
Yeah.
The first time you opened, I believe, right? You had a fire in the
Yes.
kitchen. And you told everyone that's why it's too hot.
Yeah, you have done your research. So I'll start here. Like when I told people I was going to quit my good-paying job with a baby and another one on the way and go open a restaurant, they're like, "You're an idiot." And then I said, "Oh, it's this building on 8th and Division." They were like, "Dude, it's crap over there. Like there's nothing over there."
Right next to a club, I believe that's what it was,
There
right?
was Blue Nightclub. There was the Social Club where people get busy.
Yep.
Actually, one of my funniest stories from our first night open was that. Frugal McDougal was still there, of course. And then Flight, the nice restaurant, which is now, I think, 8th and Broad, an event space. But then CarQuest was across from me,
Yes,
not the high
heard of that.
rise. The RJ Young buildings were there, not high rises. Everyone laughed. When I first went to look at this, it was only half the building. It was like 3,000 square feet, and it had a gunshot hole in the window on the front door. There was a dead rat behind the bar, and there were 2 homeless folks living in the basement who got spooked when we went to look at it. We didn't know they were there, and they ran out the back. And it was rough. We ended up putting more money into that building to double it out and build that second part from scratch. And man, I told everyone, I was like, it's the last corner leaving Broadway that is untapped, that has not been taken. It will happen eventually. And man,
What do you? Whoa! We've been so lucky here in the heart of the Gulch where we've almost kind of literally cornered that market right there, where we had peg leg pork or jackalope, and everyone that was the only one that I'm really sad I didn't get was Khalid in Arnold's. So rest in peace, Arnold's.
Oh, yeah.
They sold that bad boy, so I'm not mad at them getting their money.
Yeah,
right
but
there.
I've heard rumors. I don't know if they're true, but there might be an appearance somewhere else for them.
There you go. That's what I want. But
I'm rooting
anyways,
for them.
when you had the Gulch location, like you said, you had people, and we have a section on our show at the end where I talk about the naysayers and everything like that. But you had a lot of people questioning, why that location? Why did you saw it before everyone else? Just like how I see the nations today.
Yeah,
it's before the big boom. What made you choose, the Gulch back then?
There's spillover. I mean, they already had the icon. They already had everything down here. Well, not everything, but I mean, Sambuca was already rocking and rolling, and Urban Flats was there. Cantina Laredo was there. We already had a Bar Louie, and we had the pub. And I just looked at myself. I was like, with all these high rises, and it's coming this way at some point. I said, I can steal this thing, And we got a phenomenal lease on this place. And I thought, corners leaving downtown, where there's infrastructures where you want to plant your seeds, and there was infrastructure times 100. It was there, and it has creeped up there. And a little bit of big news, and you probably already have it, but we are actually, RIP to my original building, we are actually moving the original Gulch location. Ever since we moved in there, I have stared across the street and been like, what a cool building that poorhouse building was, which has now become Fat Cats, or was Fat Cat Slim's. And while I was opening Destin, I got a phone call from the owner of Fat Cat, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to shut this down. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Yes," because my lease was about to be up down here, and that building has 200 additional seats. One thing that it's always bothered me is all of my other locations are like a neighborhood bar. Like we have more happy hours, we have more special deals. But with this store, we only have 142 seats. We're always so busy. Like I can't treat it like I treat my other stores. And that kills me because I want everyone who lives down here to have that as the neighborhood spot. And a lot of people do, but I can do better. I just needed more seats. So when we open this new location, we're going to have the all-day Sunday happy hours, the all-day Tuesday happy hours. We're going to have the trivias. We're going to have the watch parties with the Titans, the things I haven't been able to fit into that small space and really drive. We're going to do that because I want this to be a place where locals can go. And that upstairs is going to be an if you know, you'll get full service up there and you don't have to wait in the line downstairs.
See, that's the trick. See, now, we got a real person that understands business. Talk about those emails that you used to get about finding your cook.
Oh, no. So, So my chef has been with me now since before we even started demoing the first building, Chef Bart Pickens. If you're in the industry in Nashville, there's a very good chance you have run across him in your time. And if you've met him, you love him. He is like a Cajun Gordon Ramsay. Best way I can describe it.
That's a great way to describe it.
But his Cajun, when he gets like amped, turns almost Brooklyn, Jersey. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. And there's not one person on our corporate team or management teams that doesn't have a Bart voice. Like when you say something Bart said, you can't say it in normal, a normal voice. You have to do it in your best Bart. And it's sort of a thing, So when we were looking, I started Craigslist. We're old, and we're gonna be turning so we were on Craigslist, and I did not post an ad for a kitchen manager or a chef. I posted a want ad, like if you like pina coladas or must love dogs. I posted an ad that said must love chicken, and I wrote my basically love letter to chicken, and I was looking for my counterpart who loves hot chicken as much as I do. And I had like 80 something responses to this. Out of those, I pulled 3 names. Out of those 3, one of them I immediately cast aside because I had a very small building and a very small budget, and I knew I couldn't afford them. So I let the other 2 cook for us, and there were some really great dishes, but I was looking for my kind of crazy. I needed someone who looked at food the way I looked at the Bev program, and someone who thinks outside the box, someone who innovates. And, finally, I got the same resume 8 freaking times, like just over and over and over. And I was like, it was the guy that I cast aside. It was Ernest Bart Pickens. So finally I call and I go, what? He said, I love chicken. I said, I can't afford you. He goes, you don't know that. So we had him come out to my business partner, Nick Jacobson. He owns 360 in Belle Meade, phenomenal restaurant. By the way, if you haven't been there, treat yourself. But we met him out there, and I said, before I tell you anything about this concept, I need to tell you we need to have the best fried chicken, anywhere. And he goes, how you want it? Saltwater brine, dill pickle brine, sweet tea brine, single dredge, double dredge. He starts doing this. It sounded like Bubba talking about shrimp on Forrest Gump. I mean, it was the funniest thing. I just looked back at him, and he got done and said, yes, I want to try all of that. And I had this idea. I was going to do the old Western thing, and I was going to make hot, spicy pickled eggs and have them on the back bar and call them foul balls for $1 and just do it as couldn't charge that now because now fish eggs are cheaper than chicken eggs.
Yep, there you go.
But no,
yeah, that's true.
So anyway, so I had this name Fowl Balls, and as he was prepping, he was putting little name tags on items in the window and bringing everything out for our big tasting. And he made something he called Foul Balls, and I just looked at Nick and I go, "If the food
is our guy.
Is good, like this is the dude." And that was our actual our boudin, New Orleans style boudin balls, our New Orleans arancini, basically that he did, which are still on the menu today. But that was it solidified it. He also took an airline breast, made a few slices, fried it, and it came out looking like a hand. And he goes, "Look now for the little kiddies, chicken fingers." And I was like, this guy gets it. Like, this is who I need in my life. And he is still with me today. He is crazy as all get out.
Shout out to Bart, man.
Man, Chef Bart. I'm telling you, he's an icon. I just want to create a whole social page. It's just shit Bart says.
No, honestly, though, but I mean, one thing that you talk about that Cajun kind of influence in there, because one of my favorite things, I literally tell you my order every time. And it's I go in there, I get the wedge with the mild chicken on there, mild hot chicken. Yep. And then I always end it with a beignet.
Absolutely.
And it's the bourbon beignets are my thing. And actually, so my girlfriend's going to hate me for this, but so we went out to Franklin for Valentine's Day this past year. And on our way, she knew what I liked. We're over there by Franklin, right by Cool Springs. I'm like, do you want a beignet? Yes. And she drove me to Party Fowl in Franklin, Cool Springs. You guys had music. You actually had someone playing.
We had live music on Valentine's.
And we were there an hour before it closed just because, I needed to get my fix of beignet. So shout out to... Did Bart do that?
Yeah, so I'll never forget. So everyone says, do I come up with the recipes? Absolutely, unequivocally, no. We collaborate on some things, but back when we were getting this whole thing going, like I said, I had some young babies at the time, and so I would take them out in the living room after my wife goes to sleep so that she could actually get rest. And I'd have one in my arms, I'd have one with the little thing rocking them with my feet. And I just watch, cooking shows and stuff, just brain fodder, just seeing things click. And I'd have me a little bourbon and just sit out and do that. And I would fire emails at Bart, at all hours of the night. Now, one thing about him, he wakes up at 3 a.m. and he has his big old pot of coffee, has a Red Bull, and he's down the road. He's in the buildings about 4:30 at the latest.
He sounds like a legend himself.
He is a legend. And so there was one night where I was sitting here going, chicken and waffles. Bart says, you can't have chicken and waffles. You got 140 seats. How you going to have that much power? 6 minutes to make a waffle? How many waffles you going to have? I went, this man's right. We don't even have enough room for all. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, he's from New Orleans. Let's do beignets, but let's put a bourbon glaze on them. So I emailed him, hey, can you do a bourbon glaze on the beignets? And he was like, I could do that. So I come in the next day. Now, this is the one that Bart fell in love with me. I had been watching a couple episodes, and I know food better than this, but I'm going to admit it because it's a great story. He makes me these pillowy, beautiful beignets. And I go, dude, they're supposed to be round. He goes, what part of New Orleans you fucking from?
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. By the way, we probably have to beef that.
Nah, don't worry about it.
But anyway, so and we just died laughing. And he goes, those are the savory beignets. Those ain't fucking beignets, And so he made me those, and they stuck. And that was our answer for chicken and waffles was, let's do the bourbon glazed beignets and hot chicken and do something completely different, but where people will know kind of where that comes from.
Yo, that's amazing. I had no idea it was like that. That's a great story.
Thank you.
Now, I want to talk about getting the whole entire experience. Before we take our first break, sure. I'm interested in knowing, why did you notice that niche in the market? Because when you think about all these chicken, Nashville is the home for hot chicken. And not only that, recipes. So 2 questions here, 2-part question here. Yep. Number 1, what makes a good hot chicken?
It's all about the mud, and mud is taking your hot oil, put it in a bowl, and blooming your spices. Spices, much like decanting a bottle of wine. When you add the hot oil to the spices, it actually blooms them back, and you get all the aromas, and you get all the profile coming back to it. So making that mud perfectly, keeping it suspended so that when you take your chicken out of the fryer and you dip it in there, you get an even coating all the way across. And that is what is so crucial. Now, everyone and their mama in every state across the country has a Nashville Hot something on their menu now. Right. And I always order one just to see, like...
You do that?
How does it stack? Oh, absolutely.
That's smart.
Oh, yeah. I've had some Nashville hot fish sandwiches in Chicago. I've had some other people's Nashville hot chicken sandwiches. I've had this, that, and the other.
Have you ever weeped?
Have you ever been outside of Nashville? They don't do it right.
There you go.
No, I'm just being real. No,
you're being honest.
Nashville, when you've had Prince's, when you've had Bolton's, when you've had these things growing up, you eat some of this stuff and you're like, that's a spicy barbecue. Like, that's not even Nashville hot at all. So it's all about that mud. Some people call it a slur. It's mud for us. And so we take that very seriously. I will warn you, though. You've probably noticed, if you go there right when we open at 11 a.m. and you order the Nashville hot chicken, say you order mild. That is the hottest it is going to be.
Yes.
Because it bloomed just then. Now, 12:30, it probably tames down just a little bit, and then we'll rebloom it, midday. And so right after you bloom is the hottest. That cayenne will fire on the mild, and then when you step up our heat levels, we have some other spices that we add in there, other peppers, and those things, they get live.
And then not only that, that's so funny you called that out, because when I do have friends in town, right, I have my family in town, and we're usually going to go there. We're going to go to Party Fowl for one. I'm going to get my beignets, but also it's because it is a sit-down location.
Right.
It is an entire location where you can actually watch some sports, and that's, as guys, we're going to love to do that.
Yep.
Now, but one thing I did notice, though, is that from trying different spots all over Nashville, I've only been here for about 3 years. For some reason, that mild is a little hotter than mild.
Yeah.
And then I've seen people try the hottest there.
Poultrygeist.
And that is
trademarked.
It is crazy. It's crazy the levels you guys get to, though.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from, where you wanted to get to that level?
If you go to Prince's and you order extra hot, they're going to laugh at you unless they've seen you before. We aren't the first ones to do heat levels to that level. What I wanted so much is I wanted to be as traditional as possible when creating our recipes, but I charged Bart with, hey, I want to build flavor. I don't just want heat for the sake of heat. As we get to those higher levels, I want a flavor build. I want those different spices to hit different parts of your palate and take you on a trip. I don't want just pain for pain. I want it to be a good pain. And so that's why we added the habanero blend to the medium, the habanero pure to the hot, and then adding all of those plus Reaper, Scorpion, and Ghost peppers. But it's only a little bit here and there. And you'll notice, I talked about wine earlier. It's very funny talking about spices. Those different peppers attack different parts of your palate.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the tip of the tongue. Oh, it's hot. Side tongue. I'm on fire. Throat. Boom. And then it just sits on you. And you're like, that is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
That Poultrygeist is another level. That is a 2-day commitment that I make very, very few times across. Like twice a year, Bart and I will taste and make sure that we're blending on spec. And there's like bushwhackers and vanilla ice cream and jug of milk, and we're just like, everything's good, it's fine. Just like smearing stuff on our face. It's fine, it's fine. So yeah, we get on up there with those heat levels.
Well, I mean, also, establishing the business, you guys have that creed, right? So the creed is we're family, and don't poison. What was it?
There's only 2 rules at Party Fowl, and there's nothing about chicken or boozy slushies. It's we are a family, and don't poison the well. I don't care how talented you are. You could be someone who can run 4 stations at once during a $6,000 lunch. If you don't bring joy in and build the people up around you, you can't work for me. It's not personal. I'll write you a letter of recommendation on your skill set, but I try to bring energy. One thing about it is and everyone's worked in a place like this. I don't care if a server is smiling ear to ear when they're talking to me at a table. You can feel when the vibe is off. You can feel when the culture is not right. I've been to restaurants where the food's great, drinks are great, and I go, that was pretty cool. And I've been to places where the food's all right, drinks are all right, but I'm like, that's my new spot. And so we like to create this place where it doesn't suck to come to work. I always tell people in interviews, I set one yesterday, and I say the same thing every time. I had jobs, through my life where I would pull up to the back door and go,
another day.
Let's get through it.
Yep.
And I've had jobs where I'm like, I get to work with this person today. It's going to be an awesome day. Like, I'm excited to see my people. We spend more time at work than we do during our hobbies that we love and being with the people that we love. So we need to create an environment where it doesn't suck to do it. And that's what we've tried to do at Party Fowl. And you'll see when you go into our stores, in every single store we have people from the original opening. If you go down to the Nashville store right now, William and Isaac are still in that bar. My boy Andrew's still serving tables. And there's more, and so
shout out that team. Make sure everyone knows
they have been with me for 9 years almost. And the people who have left this company. I was in Columbus, Ohio last weekend for a softball tournament, and the first server I ever hired, Cody Reiser was her name then. She's now married, but I got to go hang out with her, and it's just like being with your family. Like, yes, we're direct. Yes, we have high expectations for our team. But when we say we're a family, we mean it. We have almost 400 employees now, and there are very few people that my corporate team doesn't know their name and what they do there. Whenever there's turnover, whenever I visit a store, I immediately look out the faces I haven't met, and I walk up and go, I have not met you. What is your name, and what do you do? I'm Austin. And I'm just like, I got to find out who they are. And I feel like we have a very good connection. We have a very big open door policy. I don't think there's many people in this entire company who don't have a contact for me.
You guys have 6 locations and more now.
Yeah.
But what I'm interested in knowing is finding these locations, right, in these different towns, right? Because they're not only in Nashville, you're going Franklin, Murfreesboro, and
Chattanooga,
Destin.
Yeah.
And it's just talk about those different types of customers.
Yeah.
Because now you're thinking like that restaurateur. Where are you searching for in these locations? What's the clientele you're looking for?
So we get a little better every time. That's what I always say. Every time we open a restaurant, we get a little bit better at selecting it and knowing what we're looking for. And I'm literally looking for, you got to have lunch business, or as Bart says, you got to have lunch money. So you want to be in an area that has plenty of corporate office space, that it's easy to get in and out of. And you also want to have a place that on the weekends people are gravitating toward. If you have lunch business, this is no magic trick. You have happy hour because those same folks get off. If you have happy hour on weekdays, you also have weekday dinner because people have gotten off work and they go out and take folks out to dinner. So when you have a place that can do lunch volume, during the week, you are going to be successful. Weekends are always going to be a notch
hit or miss.
For you. You can hit on weekends, but if you don't have weekday business, you're going to hurt. So Cool Springs for me, you're talking, what was it, 16 million square feet of corporate office space when we were going in, and that was in a very small radius. Of course, I opened up right before everyone went remote, and they still have not all come back yet. So it worked for the first week or so. We had tremendous lunch business, happy hour, at nighttime, and then when we shut down on the 16th, it never came back like that yet. It's starting to build back up. Some people are going back in the office over there, but that's kind of what we look. Donaldson for me there was 3 million square foot of corporate office space in less than 2 miles, 29 hotels, and we were that close to the airport.
And it's probably the only spot there that you can get hot chicken as well. We
are definitely the hot chicken folks in Donaldson right now. I will not be surprised if another one pops up. It's a booming area. I used to be like, there's no way this place is going to grow so big. And now we've got apartment complexes, tall and skinnies and high rise. And it's starting to really go. And I'm just going, this is so great for this community.
Competition. I mean, how challenging is it to always try to strive to be the best of the best?
So, like I said, with that blue ocean strategy that we looked at, there was no one else. And right now, there's still no one else who is a hot chicken restaurant that is full service, full bar, the whole 9 yards. So that's not where the competition comes in. The competition comes in price point, guest average, check, those things like that. So, Donaldson, we just got an Edley's over there. And by the way, give me those grits with the burn ends all day. Those are my friends. Listen, I don't think that it's ever bad to have successful restaurants that open up near you. It makes your part of the world a little bit more active. It gets more energy over there. For me, it's the more the merrier. I'm not one of those guys who's like, forget them, I hate that place, or I hate that place.
I don't think Nashville's like that. Nashville's not like that. I mean,
people ask me to be. Every time I've done a TV show or radio show, they're like, so, who's your biggest competition? Like, who do you always like this? I'm like, nobody.
Favorite publication you've done? Maybe it's TV event. Maybe what's been one of your favorites?
Filming with Shaquille O'Neal was a huge thing for me, and I got him to come play softball with us. And I am kind of a competitive dude. I had torn my calf muscle in the semifinal game, and my left fielder, my boy Landon, who never misses a ball ever, he had jumped up and fell down on his cocktail. He'd broken his ass bone.
Ow.
And so we're limping into the semifinal, and we got edged out by 1 or 2 runs. And so the day they were doing the championship for the restaurant leagues, I filmed with Shaq and had him and his crew come out on the field next to them and do the TV show and film Shaq playing softball. So do you know how many people watched my boys over at Maribel? Sorry, love y'all. Watched their championship win?
Not very many.
And they knew. They were like, you did that on purpose. I was like, we've been playing against each other for 13. Yes, I did that on purpose. No, but that was fun. But I have to say the one that captured the best, I recently filmed, the Titans and LG worked on a deal, and I filmed with them. And I got to say, it wasn't just the what is Party Fowl, it was the why Party Fowl. They even got me to cry at one point because they asked the right questions, and I was like, that was a roundhouse. That was a full story. That told about the soul of us and not just the fact we have a really cool 55-ounce Bloody Mary with fried chicken coming out of it, and then we have huge boozy slushies. No, it really got to the core of who I am, who my team is, and why we're so tight-knit. And that one told our story the best. But I'm going to tell you, I've had a blast on all these shows and worked with some amazing talented people.
I mean, you've even had and I'll let you get a drink of that. So one thing I was looking up, so shout out, like I said, I'm always going to say this because my boy got me the shine first, and that is Daddy's dog, Sean Porter. Thank you so much.
Oh, baby, Sean's my boy.
Yeah, man. Sean really hooked us up. That really gave us credibility in the streets of Nashville here. But you guys had an amazing event go on in Titan Stadium. Don't think I wasn't watching. You guys got to run on field.
Oh, wasn't you guys? It was like 8 of us, man. It was like a whole so I loved it. I mean, all the locals got so Sean Porter was with us, Clinton and the boys from Slim and Huskies were in there. Pat Martin was in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was crazy. So it was funny. They walk up and go, so who's stabbing the sword? And I go, hey boys, I've been going to ball games since the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Like, if I don't touch that thing, there's like 100 people who are going to make fun of me. So I'll share. And they were like, Austin, you're a huge Titans fan. You do it. And I was like, I want you to know I love each and every one of you so much. I made sure they all touched the sword before I went and stabbed it. I was like, thank y'all so much. And I was like, y'all don't even know. And I have a picture the Titans sent me. So they walked up to me before I stabbed it and go, it's 7 degrees. The wind chill's below that. And they're like, the ground is really hard, so just try to get it in there. And I was like,
come on now. Come on now.
I work out, and look, this is my one shot. I'm gonna put this thing like
through the
handle
ground,
deep in this thing. So there's a picture of when I get this much of the sword into the ground, where that metal sword looks like a pea almost.
Oh my God, you were serious with it.
It literally almost snapped. When I got done, my girl Katie over there was like, Austin, you almost broke it. And I was like, I thought she was just being funny because I slammed it so hard into the ground.
You did slam, and I saw those pictures.
It literally almost broke, and I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
But I mean,
maybe I should have broken it because we did not win a very easy game.
Well, that's the thing. So brunch, how important is brunch in your establishment?
It gets overlooked. Don't sleep on that one. But no, our menu was really well received, and actually, a couple years after we opened, Food Network named us the #1 brunch in the state of Tennessee. And
you know I'm gonna do that.
Hey, that was 2016. I'm just gonna tell you, and I don't care what any of y'all think. I'm waving that flag. They're going to have to put it on my tombstone because my menu hasn't changed except adding 2 items. So technically,
it's still standing.
Our brunch is still done.
Well,
and by the way, pro tip, because you were giving some pro tips earlier about going to Donaldsons, which is only 7 miles up First Avenue. It literally dead ends into my building. But for all you locals out there who are like, oh yeah, it's always crowded, you can make a reservation, and even when we're on a 2-hour wait, you walk right past everybody. Make a reservation, and you don't have to wait for anybody. I'm telling you, it's the keys to the city.
All right, so you ready to do some crowd noise?
I'm ready, baby. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, Austin, I just wanted to ask you if you had any plans to expand anywhere other than Destin and Nashville.
So Destin, and this is kind of the jumping on that question right there. Mm-hmm. Destin is the outlier, in my opinion.
Very much.
And obviously, but it's not an outlier. If you live in Nashville, Tennessee, Destin's definitely not an outlier.
No, and if you live in Destin, do you know where you vacation typically? Nashville.
Nashville.
Nashville. It's so fun, man. Like when I'd pull up at the Publix to get all my stuff for the house, and in my Party Fowl Jeep, people walk up and go, so when are y'all opening? I heard like that's where we go 3 or 4 times a year. I'm like, first of all, I love you. Second of all, here's my contact. I want you to come to my friends and family. Like people there know Nashville, not just they know Nashville. They know all the cool spots. They know all the cool restaurants. And, you know, it's really tough during the slow season. You literally drop 60, 70% of sales, you know, for 5 months,
That's
4 or 5 months. Huh? It really is. So your biggest goal when you're going there is you have to make friends with the locals. You got to support your locals. You got to give them reasons to be able to go there because, number one, it costs so much to live there year round. Number two, everything there is expensive. So we've tried our best. We have local cards there, and we do local specials all the time, and we have some phenomenal local regulars there. So we're building that. I mean, we're going into our 2nd year, like literally. We are at 1 year and 1 week old right now.
Hey, man, that's amazing because I remember seeing it, actually. We were, obviously, like I said, for the locals that watched our show, obviously a lot of y'all do. One thing is when you're going down Destin and when you're just going down that area.
Down 98.
It's so cool to see it. Yeah. It's kind of creepy like seeing Red Door Saloon. It's just like, whoa, you guys are just right there because you think Destin is Nashville's like beach town.
It's our spot. That was a selfish open for me. That's one of my favorite places in the world. So now I have to go check on my store.
I knew it.
And my kids love it. They're like, Daddy, when are we going to check on Destin? No, I do have a lot of things that we're improving right now. We're retooling the patios to make them more accessible year round, and we're doing some new things with our drink menus across all locations. They'll be releasing in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, I'm telling you, that was a selfish open. There are some struggles, but man, I love that store and that team. I mean, the GM and the bar manager down there moved from my Donaldson location to there and have been with me for years.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. And so Amanda Wagle, she's my GM, and Zach, her fiance, he is my bar manager. And I've actually got a couple of my staff members who moved down there.
Why wouldn't they?
And they just happened to be working there. I'm telling you, man, such a cool vibe, such a cool spot.
And
Great
I mean,
team.
there's we got a couple questions here before we gotta let you go.
Oh, he asked about where else.
Yes,
I didn't
where
answer
else?
that,
That's
did I?
exactly where I was going.
So right now, for our full service units, we are kind of getting this new Nashville store open, which I would assume, I've given some different timelines, but yeah, I think July, August will open up the 2.0 over here where Fat Cat Slim's was. After
Gulch.
that, we're kind of hunkering down. I am in discussions with some other folks about some properties that were not to the letter of intent or anything like that yet, but sniffing. I will say that there might be a form of Party Fowl that starts to pop up more frequently everywhere.
Everywhere. Hey, maybe.
Possibly.
It's in the works, and it's important because you got to get the business right before
Yes.
you can get the business right.
And in the world we live in right now, with the R word, recession, being thrown around, finding the right model that can be duplicated and replicated over and over and over and still be successful, that's the challenge. And we are working on something that could be pretty special.
Well, if anything, we venture out to Atlanta a lot.
Yeah.
So I think, and I thought it was so interesting that I was researching this company that Atlanta wasn't there yet. Maybe in the works sometime.
We actually had a letter of intent at one point there, and we backed out on it. But we're always looking. If the right location pops up, there's not like I have a list of cities.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's when my broker reaches out and goes, I got something that might fit you. And I'm like,
Isn't it crazy? So, I mean, all right. So then my last couple questions before we go to your day in the life here. I mean, talk to me how fun it must be to be a restaurateur at this point now in your career. From what we learned, I mean, we didn't get down to the nitty gritty of where you started because there's so much going on today that's so important. But I mean, how fun is it to just start looking at things as a running, operating machine? I heard that you cried the first time that they said they didn't need you. In the store, but
you must have talked to some of my team, man. That's some deep stuff.
But I'm interested in knowing, how does it feel to be a restaurateur and just seeing it grow organically in time?
Yeah.
You picking it now, man. You're picking it.
So I'll never forget, after our friends and family, where we caught the kitchen on fire. It was the smoker, by the way, that was the smoking gun, as it was.
Thought the chicken was too hot.
Yeah, that's my line. It couldn't have been better. But my boy Matt Butel, he was sitting up there with Nashville Bar Alliance. He's just sitting up there on my jukebox playing every song about roofs on fire and houses burning. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was sitting with my cousin Luke, who we were raised as brothers, but our dads were, not us. And we were sitting back on his truck behind the dumpster of this division store the first night of the Friends and Family, and we're looking up at that neon on the back above the dumpster, and he goes, what's it like to own your restaurant? And I said, dude, if I did this for 30, 40 years and broke even, I would do it. Like, I love it so much. And it's not just, creating a great drink and seeing somebody smile, coming up with a great dish and someone, going on social media and telling you they love it. My staff having a great day and walking out making more money than they've made in a week on a paycheck somewhere else in one day sometimes. And, just getting to know these people and their family, their pets, their kids, and it's a dream come true. It's something I never saw happening for myself. And I pinch myself almost every day and go, how in the hell has this happened? And my knees are bruised from praying. I got to be honest, man. I thank God every single day. Whatever your faith is, I'm cool with you too. That's my faith. And, I pray a lot, and I've never prayed for profit. I pray that everyone who walks through those doors is able to provide for their family, and that they enjoy their life, and that we're doing good. And I think one of the reasons we've been successful is that we are very loud, very loving, very humble organization, and everybody who works with me is just top notch. I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Question, not to break it down anywhere, but you guys know where I go with it, is the naysayers, the haters, people that did not believe in the beginning. I mean, how did you stay above it? How did you keep on that momentum forward?
Look, I tell everyone I interview, I tell my team all the time, you have to be absolutely crazy to do what we do for a living. People doubting and things like that, I think everyone can agree who's listening to this, who hasn't been doubted their whole life. Find one person, no matter how successful, who wasn't doubted at some point. That doesn't derail me. Keep your head in the clouds, keep shooting your shot. You can't make any shots you don't take. And man, I'm one of those people. I speak things into existence. I will literally tell my folks, my family, my friends, something that I want to do, that I'm going to do, and then I'm holding myself accountable to pull it off, or
And that's the most important part, though.
I speak it into existence and I fight for it. And so no, when the doubters come along, not everyone's going to love you in every aspect of life. All you can do is do your best to be a good person and be kind to folks and
make it happen. That's right.
Man,
and then
that's it.
Last question I got here. So obviously we kind of talked about 2023. By the time this comes out, it will be later in the year 2023.
Yeah.
But what's a pinch me moment of 2022? And what do you, so let's start there. What's a pinch me moment for 2022?
2022, man. Being the 12th Titan. I mean, I gotta be honest. That one got me. I mean, if you took 2021, 22 together, Lay's released a Party Fowl potato chip in every grocery in America with us. That was a big deal for me and my team. Releasing our dill pickle Kolsch with tailgate. Gotta be honest, everyone was like, "What are you doing? That is the dumbest idea." Oh yeah, really? We sell out every time. People love the pickle beer. It works, baby.
I mean, those are good pinch me moments.
Those are pinch me moments, man. And the biggest one of all is that my wife and kids support it, and I still make time to do all the things. I coach my kids' teams. We travel a lot. I have the support of my family. It's what the hell do I have to bitch about over here?
Exactly.
No, I live in a pinch me moment. When I'm dying on my deathbed, I'm just going to do one last pinch and be like, that was awesome.
Dude, that's sick. I love that. And then 2023, what is something you're looking forward to middle of the year, end of the year time?
Well, I just got to be real. I cannot wait to open Nashville 2.0 over here on the corner in front of Frugal. We have so many big plans, and for all you folks who like to who live downtown and play downtown, we're creating a different environment. We're going to have a way more accessible Party Fowl for you guys. That you're going to have all the specials, all the fun events. Now I have space. That is number one on my list, is getting that building done, seeing that thing turn into a Party Fowl, and that's it.
I love it. That's a good way to end this. Now, like I said, we always go into every episode. We see what you do best. Now, I get it. You're out here running it in the corporate world now, so now you're making deals happen and everything like that.
Yep.
But I'm excited to see where the Walk the Line takes us this time. But the way we tee it up is you look straight into that camera right there. You say your name. Say, "We are Party Fowl, and this is how I walk the line."
Right.
And then just like that, transition in, and let's do your day in the life. You ready to roll?
Let's do it.
All right. Right after this applause, look into that camera right there. 3, 2, 1.
This is Austin Smith. We are Party Fowl, and this is how we walk the line.
Hey.